mid-sized AMC Rambler. These things are cool. I like them. Oh, look at this. A factory 4-speed. Well, there it is, man. Clutch pedal, brake pedal, gas pedal, and this right here, a 4 on the floor. It's got a really tight gate. First, second, third, fourth, reverse with the lockout right there. Keep in mind, 1966, this is the first ever 4-speed stick in any American Motors product, including the AMX, the Rambler machine, all those cars later on. Now, the Rebel itself was kind of a revival of the 57 4-door, but aimed at the youth market for 1966. Standard equipment in Rebels was the bucket seats, the center console. These could be had with the 6-cylinder, the automatic, and the 3-speed, but this one here is incredibly rare. My records show about 150 of these things were built with the 4 on the floor. Let's check out the engine. Powering this one, we have American Motors V8. This one here, okay. The 2-barrel marks this one as a 287. You might wonder, what the heck is that? Well, American Motors brought out their first V8 in 1956, sold as a 250 or a 327. Well, the 250 was dropped after 61, which left a big gap between the 327 and the 6-cylinder engine. So for 1963 and a half, the 287 was brought back to life as a midway engine between the 6-banger and the 327. One thing about this V8, too, is that it's an antique of an engine, and 66 was the final year for the 287 and the 327. They were replaced for 67 with the 290, which grew into the 401 and was a fantastic engine. Now, something cool about American Motors VIN tags is that they have a lot of information. On the 4th digit, we see the letter F. This is a real 4-speed, 4-on-the-floor Rambler Rebel. We go to the 7th digit, we see H, which indicates the 287 2-barrel. Very, very cool. And this, yeah, disc brakes on the front of this one. Now, these are made by Bendix for Rambler. It is a solid rotor. It's not vented like most other American rotors. Here's the cast iron dual piston caliper with the Bendix logo cast into it. And this front suspension right here, this goes back to 1949. We see here basically a coil spring on top of the strut here, and it's kind of an antiquated design. These would go away for 1970. There's even more weird stuff on this car. The rear suspension and drive shaft and axle are really bizarre. Let's check those out. At the back of this car, we get a look at American Motors torque tube drive. From about the end of World War II right on through 1966, AMC used a tube with a drive shaft inside to transmit power to the rear axles. For 1967, American Motors redesigned all of their cars, got away from torque tube, and went to the open drive. So welcome to the 20th century, American Motors. The rear axle itself is an AMC Model 20. That's a heavy-duty piece with an 8.5-inch ring gear, and the presence of yellow paint here on this torque tube indicates there might be a limited slip differential inside of there. In other words, for you Chevy guys, a posi unit. And that rear axle is about the same piece that was used in later AMXs, machines, and heavy-duty muscle cars, and Jeeps. That's a good axle, heavy-duty piece. If this 66 Rambler Rebel were mine, well, we have to remember that Junkyard Gold isn't about being practical. As American Motors' first 4-on-the-floor car, this car needs to be restored right back to square one factory stock. It's one of 7,512 built, but of them, only about 150 got the 4 on the floor. It cost $100 grand to do it, but it has to happen. Bill Gates, I'm calling you out.